Scarlett, welcome to the program.
Hi.
It's been a long time. The first time we saw you, you and Carolyn were doing My Fair Lady.
Yes.
And that's what I remember. And then we haven't seen you in a while. But I know you've done plenty of theater in different places. So
yes.
How did you get started in theater?
My first experiences with theater was in elementary school, and we had a music teacher there who had brought in a couple of different musicals. We did a Cats review, which I remember really enjoying, and auditioning for one of the leads and not getting it. And then being crushed. Cats. Oh. Yes. And it wasn't the full thing, because we were little, but it was just all the music, and there was acrobatics, and just really...
Acrobatics?
Yeah, some of the kids did some acrobatics. So it was fun, but then they did Starlight Express, and they did it on skates.
Starlight? Oh, that's pretty ambitious.
It was very ambitious. And this is elementary school, so...
Starlight, well, I guess I figured, you can, roller skate, okay, fine. We could do Starlight Express.
Yeah, it wasn't the full length at all, but it was
yeah.
It was, and I just remember that being... just a glimpse of something that I really wanted at the time. I remember the voice teacher telling me that I didn't have a good voice. Yeah, and that maybe I didn't. Maybe being.
So how old were you then?
It must have been like 8 or 9.
Okay. So did you train before then, or you just sang for fun?
Just sang for fun.
Okay.
Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of opportunities where I was growing up. I was in Saudi Arabia, so just very in a compound. It was just.
Well, it's kind of interesting because we've got friends, and she went to go visit her brother because they were doing Mamma Mia in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, really?
So I would say that's the furthest someone's been to go see a family friend do. So I guess, it has changed over
Yes, probably so, yeah.
But, wow.
But, yeah, so there wasn't a whole lot as far as musicals or dance. I remember taking dance a little bit when I was little, but there wasn't any room for growth because the teachers there could only teach you so much, and then that was it. And I wasn't very good at dance at the time anyway. So, but past that, I kind of forgot about musical theater. There wasn't anything in well, there wasn't anything.
No,
in
anything
junior
there.
high.
So right.
There wasn't a program when I first started high school here in the States. There wasn't a program at the school that I was at, and then they hired somebody in my junior year, and she started up a musical theater program, and I was in choir, and I auditioned, and then I realized that was it. That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be on stage. So I quit everything else. I was in softball, and I was on the varsity team, and it was fun, but I enjoyed musical theater much more. So I quit that, stuck with my band and my choir and my musical theater, and that was it.
How do you band and choir?
I did everything. I gotta tell you, I was never ever home. I remember never being home. It was either me at the band competitions or me at the all-state choir competitions, or staying after school for musical theater, and juggling it all. But yeah,
so you were in Saudi for quite a while, and then you came here. Where did you come first to the States?
To Florida. I was in Saudi for 13 years.
Wow.
And then, let's see, it was my sophomore year of high school. I moved to Florida.
Right.
And I finished off high school there. And then my dad got a job here in Houston, so we all moved.
Well, as a kid, maybe you didn't notice it as much, but certainly for ladies, it's different over there. Right? So what was it like for you and your mom?
I don't remember it being too different for me when I was little, but I remember hitting adolescence, and that's when you had to start covering up a little bit and just started following the rules a little bit more. And I remember one experience where I think I must have been 12 or 13, just at the cusp of, going from child to teenager, and I was just very uncomfortable with being forced to wear an abaya, and so I stole a pair of my brother's jeans, baggy t-shirt, and I stuffed my hair in a hat, and we went out to the souk with me dressed as a boy, just because I was just very defiant. Just didn't want to wear that black stuff. So that was my one experience of dressing like a boy. It didn't work very well, obviously.
Really?
I'm very girly looking.
Well, I know that you're not supposed to have alcohol there. Right. But if you go to a store, they'll sell you everything, the recipe, the equipment, everything, but, everything to make. So, and they got into winemaking. So it's kind of an interesting game.
A lot of people making wine when I was growing up. I remember my parents going to parties and drinking wine.
Or even religion, right? Because, other than, Islam, no Christianity.
Right, you're not supposed to. But,
not supposed to, but somehow...
There's ways.
There are ways, right?
I remember that as well, just having ways to do what we needed to do within our compound. It was a little bit more, a lot less limits within the compound.
Right.
But outside, definitely, we tried to follow things as much as we could. And the funny thing is, my mom's she's from South America, so she's a little bit dark complected, and she's got black hair, and so she would wear the abaya, but not the headdress, so not the head covering.
And she could get away with it?
Oh no, they would come after her all the time, and they would get mad at her and say, "Why aren't you covering your hair?" And one time she got confronted by the Matawa, which is the religious police. Right. And they said, "Why aren't you covering your hair? You're sinning." They said haram, which means sinning. Right. And she said, "I'm not from here." She said, "I'm from Bolivia." And they thought she said, "I'm from Libya." And they threw a fit because for some reason in Saudi Arabia it was just, if you're from Libya or Iran, they were just very upset about that, but they're just it's funny, the culture, it's, so many sweet people, but they're very proud to be Saudi Arabian.
Well,
just proud of that.
I guess there's nothing wrong. We're proud to be American, and other people, they're proud to be, French or British or Venezuelan, whatever. So why not? Yeah.
But it's interesting looking, from the perspective of the States, looking into the Middle East, I think we have a tendency to lump that culture, the Middle Eastern culture, together, and they are very distinct cultures, and, they like their differences, and I have to say that the people that I met there are some experiences, but for the most part, the people that I met there and the country itself was something that I just really loved. I thought it was just a very great place to grow up as a child. Sure. Well,
it's kind of interesting. I grew up overseas as well, but in Venezuela. And so I think people that have that experience really enjoy it. They appreciate the difference.
Yes.
And when they come to the States, of course, they appreciate it more. It's not that it's everything, but we appreciate being here as well. Yeah. But we really enjoyed our childhood. Well, that's what we know.
Yes, exactly.
Did you get to travel a lot? I guess from Saudi and then on the way back to the States, I guess they pay your way back. Different places you got to hit?
My dad worked for Saudi Airlines, so we would travel quite a bit. Let's see, I went to Korea, Greece, Spain, London. I think we tried to go almost everywhere. I mean, I even went to, where did I go? To the United Arab Emirates on softball competitions and all that. So we traveled quite a bit, and South America, obviously, to visit my grandparents. We were in Peru and Bolivia and as many places as we could go. So, and my dad lived in Mexico for about a year, so we would go there and visit him in Mexico. So that was, very good childhood. I think I learned a lot geographically and got to experience different cultures, and I was very appreciative of that. And I wish that my kids could have that.
It's a nice thing to wish for the kids. Yeah, absolutely, because it's different. Absolutely, you get a different perspective.
It is. I mean, it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. If I could travel, now, I would be traveling all the time.
So you don't travel that much now?
No, well, my husband works in sales here locally, and I stay at home with the kids. So, and my dad's passed on, so just a little bit more difficult, I think, to travel now than it was back then. But I can always wish and hope.
No, sure, there'll be time.
Right.
So, now, when you came back to the States, did you get back into musical theater, or how did that work?
I did, and like I said, the junior and senior year in high school, I started really becoming involved in musical theater, and I went to a really good vocal coach, and he actually was from New York, and he had retired in Sarasota, and we had found him through a friend of ours who was, at the time I was competing with the Miss America pageant. So, so my mom had me in voice lessons and, modeling classes.
Of course,
all the classes that she could possibly put me in, dance and everything. And so, from him, I learned a lot more about vocally what to do, vocal coaching, musical theater, and I thought from that point, I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to go right from high school. I'm going to apply to AMDA. My mom wanted me to go to Juilliard for piano, but I looked at her and I said, I'm really not good enough for that. She thought I was, because she thinks I'm good at everything, but to me, I was like, no way. But I wanted to go to AMDA. I wanted to go to New York and just start right off the bat. And then my dad, he moved here, and I just kind of ended up following the family out here. because I think that when you grow up overseas and all you have is, you know, your family and you're very close-knit, it's a little bit more difficult to break away. You kind of end up getting pulled in the direction of your family and where they're going. So, so then it was always on my mind to make that jump. I was planning to do something here for about a year or two, and then apply in New York to go to school. But I met my husband when I was 18, so from then on, I was like, well, that's it.
That's interesting. We've got a few people here that have graduated from AMDA. In fact, they go like, "You're from AMDA?"
Yeah.
So, what were some first shows you did in Texas?
I did some things in college. I did The Music Man, Once Upon a Mattress. Once Upon a Mattress, I did the chorus and that, and then I was understudy for Marion in The Music Man, and let's see, then I played Adelaide in
the Guys and Dolls, right?
Guys and Dolls, right? Exactly, and then I started doing community theater on and off. Playhouse 1960 was the first place that I went, and when I got married, I actually moved up to Michigan.
Wow.
And yeah, so I had a 6-year gap of not doing anything because I got married, was a stay-at-home mom after a while because I ended up having my daughter soon after, and I just took care of my kids. And
it's kind of hard to do stuff when they're small.
Yeah, when you have little ones, it's really
the energy is not there. Even if you do get a chance to do it, it's hard.
And I remember looking at the ads in the paper and saying, "Wow, there's an audition. I should do it." And oh no, I can't. I can't. There's no time. My kids are little, and just kind of looking at the ads. But when we moved back here, and my parents are here, they could help me watch the kids.
Oh, okay.
So I started just jumping into theater a lot more, and they were bigger. They were Let's see, the show that I did here, My Fair Lady, Cosette was 6.
Right.
And Jonah was 2.
Right.
And I remember even bringing them to rehearsal and them just kind of sitting and watching, or Jonah wrapping himself around my legs as I was doing a scene or something. But
it must have been pretty good, because I didn't hear a thing. Usually, if the kids are misbehaving, everyone knows about it, right? Because the cast is going...
Right, no, they were.
But I didn't hear anything, so they must have been very good. Absolutely.
Yeah. They like to watch.
Right.
They like to watch everything. Ever since Cosette did her first show and she was 3.
Right.
She was just very focused on, this is the stage. I'm all business when I get here. I've got to do my cues. She just, that's the way she's been. And I think Jonah learned from her that he has to be where he needs to be when he's in the theater. And so it's just, it's interesting to see even them grow in the theater, how it's developed their personalities and how disciplined they are, and you know, all the gifts that the theater has given to my kids.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
Being around it, even not even being in the show, but just being around
it.
Yeah.
So how did you get into directing?
I was, because that was I think she was 4 or 5, and I was approached at Playhouse. They needed some children's theater directors, and I had done so many shows over there. They said, we know that you've been around theater, you've studied theater, and we really need children's theater directors. So I said, sure, absolutely, sign me up, I'll do it right away. And they gave me Once Upon a Mattress as my first show, and I was very familiar with it. So I said, this will be the funnest show ever, and costumes were huge, and my set was just neon colors, and it was crazy, and it was a very fun show. The kids are so sweet. So from that time, I was hooked doing children's theater just because it's so fun to work with the kids, and just to watch them grow in the theater. And you know, it's like working with raw material. They don't have any bad habits, and they really rely on you to tell them what to do, and you can just kind of mold them the way that you want. Make it the way that you want, and they're very receptive. So yeah, I enjoy doing that.
Wow. So what do you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Let's see.
In terms of roles and shows, whether it's directing, acting, singing,
Show-wise, there's so many shows that I would love to do. Well, I wanted to do Drowsy.
I know. I got the note and said, "Man, you needed to make up for Drowsy because we really did." Yeah,
that would have been so fun, and it just completely.
It's such a hilarious show, and I think actually Playhouse is doing it next. It's on their season next year.
Yeah, I know that they had talked about it. I hadn't seen their season yet. But
yeah, it's good. Most people, they have a clue what it is, unless you're aficionado of it.
Yeah. Oh,
but when they see it, they just love it.
Yes,
because it's so silly.
It is. I mean, it's one my husband hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
I took my kids to see it when it was in town. I think it was a year or two years ago, and I think maybe even more than that. But my husband would love it if he saw it, and he's not a theater person. But it's completely. It's one of those. It's one of those shows that speaks to everybody.
Yes.
So whenever I saw that posted, I said, I have to audition. And it was right around the time that my dad was passing away. So he was just very sick and I couldn't. But that's one show I would love to do.
Yeah.
And there's some shows that I'd love to do, but I know that I'm not old enough to do them. Like Gypsy, I'd love to play the mom in that. Right. I know they're doing that, and
you just gotta age yourself.
Hello, Dolly. Those big.
Manny said that he'd love to do it, but he's so afraid not getting the chorus because you need a good chorus, and he's like, nobody wants to do chorus, But it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun. You get to do dancing, singing, odd lines. There's a lot you get to do when you're a chorus, but it's kind of I don't do chorus. But.
Well, I'm planning to come to your chorus for Anything Goes.
Oh my goodness!
Tap.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that's an awesome tapping show. I just saw it with Sutton Foster. I love Sutton Foster, and she did it, in Broadway. And I was like, oh my goodness, just incredible. Yeah, that's a fun show.
It is, and the music.
Oh yeah, it's great music. Like four or five girls, kind of like the backup singers, if you will.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a great time. Oh. Yeah. Get costume, get that.
Yeah, that is
You're gonna have a good time. Well, great.
Yeah, that's my plan.
All right. So, if heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get to the pearly gates?
That's a good question.
You ready to sing?
Yeah. Join the choir, the angel choir. No, probably I'd like him to tell me that I did what I was supposed to do here on earth to the best of my ability. And that's just, raising my kids and teaching them about their faith and just being good people.
Excellent.
That's it.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at the Wizard of Oz.
All right. Yeah.